TTC was born from a love story, from a partnership and bond that has lasted nearly 7 decades and counting. This, in fact, is the story of my parents, who, as you will hear, from the day they met, knew that they belonged together. This part of our 100-year story begins in July 1952, just after my parents had met for the very first time. My mother had a tennis tournament in Durban, and my father happened to be driving down with some friends and offered for her to join them for the weekend. On the evening of the 5th of July is where their love story truly began. On that night, my father invited my mother for dinner at the most talked about hotel in Durban, the Oyster Box, which my mother gladly accepted. At the time, it was the must place to eat, dine and stay. My father arranged to sit at the best table in the restaurant, number 5, which is still there to this day. Having grown up in the hotel industry and with many dreams of where his hotelier career would take him, my father read extensively about the newest tastes and trends. Keen to impress at this fine establishment, he asked my mother if she'd like to try the hotel specialty, an oyster, something she had never eaten before. For anyone who knows my mother, her reaction was not quite what one would expect from her. She promptly spat it on the floor. She admits now that it wasn't very ladylike, but this incident must have left an impression on my father. It was from this night on they were destined to be together, and have since then shared an incredible passion for food, for experimenting with tastes and flavors, and which is reflected throughout our unique menus in our hotels and river ships. She also now loves oysters. It was later on this magical night, sitting on a wooden fence overlooking the Indian Ocean, my father shared his dreams with my mother about his passion for food, his vision in hospitality, which included that one day he would own this very hotel and make it the best in South Africa. As he made this prediction, he duly fell backwards off the fence, a sign perhaps? More importantly, the incident made a noble impression on my mother. The following day, while heading home, all packed into a small Vauxhall car, my father made his second prediction of the weekend when he told his friends he knew that my mother was the woman he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, all due to this weekend where the spark happened because of the evening at the Oyster Box Hotel. My father is a man of his word, always has been, and on the 7th of March 1954, he married my mother. Many years later, in June 2006, the second part of his prediction came true, as the Oyster Box Hotel came up for sale, with the owners wanting to sell it to a family who would preserve its legacy and restore it to its former glory, which my father promised to do. Led by my mother and my sister Tony, the hotel was lovingly and meticulously rebuilt over 2 years, painstakingly restored with elegance, care, passion, and a pledge to the people of the area to create the best hotel in South Africa, just as my father had promised. On the 29th of September 2009, this culminated with the grand opening by King Goodwill Zwelithini of the Zulu Nation. The Oyster Box was restored to its glory once again.